Welcome to the channel, Retro Gamers. As this video is mostly a follow-up to a previous video, we're going to jump straight in. This video is broken up into mainly two parts, the first of which is a little bit of follow-up on my previous AES Plus video, and a little bit about what we have and haven't learned since. A little over a month ago, just like almost every other retro gaming content creator, I made a video about the announcement of the Neo Geo AES Plus. I gave my opinions and reactions, mostly positive, and I talked a little bit about the history of Neo Geo. I'm not going to go deep in all that again. I'll toss a link up at the end of the video for anyone that missed it or might need a refresher. But a good chunk of the video, and for me, the more fun part, was questioning what this might mean for the retro gaming scene as a whole. I had three big questions. I said right off that I have no insider information. This is a small channel, nobody's feeding me secrets. I said if I was wrong, we would probably know pretty soon. And then I presented three questions, pretty out of left field types of questions. The first was that we would probably not be seeing a new 2600 plus or 7800 plus model this year. We've had one every year for the past 3 years. They all look a little different, but do pretty much the exact same thing. Do we really need another one? Next year is the 50th anniversary of the 2600. Just wait and give us something really special next year. It also happens to be the 45th anniversary of the 5200, but I think I'm the only person that cares. There have been rumors of a Lynx Plus or a Jaguar Plus. Lynx Plus seems likely eventually. Jaguar Plus, at least right now, feels more like wishful thinking. Either way, I wasn't really thinking along these lines when I made these predictions. I was mostly thinking of the 2600 and the 7800, but I still don't think either one of those is likely this year. If I'm wrong, we'll probably find out this month. June is usually when Atari makes these announcements. But with PlayOn making the AES Plus coming out soon and that anniversary coming out next year, I just really don't think one of these Plus models is likely. I'm sticking to my guns for this one. Mostly, it looks like we might be getting some sort of Atari 800 XL of some sort to fill in that gap, that hardware gap this year. I really don't know enough about Atari's retro consoles to have a real opinion on this. I was always more of a console guy. Prediction number 2. If the AES Plus is a success, and it looks like it's gonna be, could we see more one-to-one console reproductions going forward? If the AES Plus, a new console meant to play those original AES cartridges, Neo Geo cartridges, natively, not through emulation, is successful, could we see a one-to-one replica of the Atari 2600 for the 2600's 50th anniversary? Add the ability to hook it up to a CRT TV if you're purists, along with the ability to continue to hook it up to HDMI. Make it a 7800 and a 2600 shell so you have access to both catalogs. I think you'd have a hit. Seeing as how PlayOn is the one making these Plus models as well as the AES Plus console, that doesn't sound too conspiracy theory-ish. No knock against Atari's Plus models, but they really are just emulation machines shaped like slightly smaller 2600s and 7800s. A great way for most people to relive those childhood memories, but not the same as playing on original or authentic hardware. The retro gaming scene has been flooded with emulation devices. Now, I'm not against emulation. I have a number of emulation devices myself, but imagine a new Famicom, a new Genesis, a new N64 actually made by Nintendo. But we're pretty far from this one, I think. I don't think we'll find the full extent of Atari's plans for the 2600 50th anniversary celebration until the end of this year at the earliest, possibly not till next summer, seeing as how the 2600 doesn't actually turn 50 until fall of 2027. And that brings me to my final prediction. The one I want to focus on for the second half of this video, the one about Neo Geo on Evercade. Oh, and by the way, it's a little late in the video for introductions, but hi, I'm Paul, and this is Indie Pop Productions, pop culture from an independent point of view. And today, we're going to talk about the AES Plus Neo Geo on Evercade and try to help you decide which one might be right for you. Now, in my Neo Geo AES Plus reaction video, I questioned whether or not we had seen the last of Neo Geo on Evercade. Atari too, but we're gonna focus on Neo Geo here. And my reasoning was two-part. First, PlayOn is likely putting a ton of money into developing the AES Plus with SNK. If I were doing that, I would want some sort of assurance that anyone that wanted to experience these games would have to do so on my shiny new console with some sort of small amount of exclusivity at the least. Second, we haven't seen anything about Neo Geo from Evercade in a bit, and the prices on those original 3 Neo Geo Evercade carts have been steadily rising on eBay and Amazon, something we usually see when a cart is about to be retired. It couldn't have been 2 days after that video was posted that Evercade let us know that more Neo Geo carts were on the way. Now, I knew I could be proven wrong, and I knew it could be pretty quickly, but I didn't expect it to be that quick. I thought surely SNK had done something to make sure that their two partners didn't try to steal each other's thunder. But apparently, not only is SNK not giving its partners any kind of exclusivity window, I don't even think they're sharing plans, because Evercade came out swinging. It almost felt like they were taking shots at the AES Plus. They made a whole blog post about how expensive AES games are and talked about how you could find many of those same games on the 3 6-game collections on Evercade for $30 a pop. Then a little while later, they announced the official lineup of games for the 4th cart. They doubled down, not 6 games, 8. And still $30. That cart will come out this month, and they said there will be a 5th cart coming later on, I would guess probably later this year, around the time that they could capitalize on the hype around the AES Plus. I love Neo Geo. I'm a fan of both PlayOn and Evercade. I'll be getting both, but that's probably not the wisest decision for everyone. So in this video, I'm gonna try to break down some of the pros and cons of each and try to give you the tools to decide who the winner is for you. First, for any newcomers, what is the difference between the two? The Neo Geo AES Plus is a reproduction of the original 1990s Neo Geo AES console with a few modern enhancements, like the ability to hook up to a modern TV without losing the ability to hook up to CRT TVs for purists. It has the ability to play all of the original AES games, along with a few select classics they're reproducing along with the modern consoles. Evercade is a full ecosystem with consoles and handhelds, each with the ability to play cartridges that are proprietary and made to contain games from either a select publisher or series, such as Neo Geo. Let's talk about the games. That's what matters after all. What can you play on these things? As I said before, the AES Plus can play the entire Neo Geo AES library. That's all of the original cartridges, the 10 reproduction cartridges that are planned, and any homebrew that has been made for the console over the years. Evercade is a more limited selection of Neo Geo games. 18 games between the original 3 cartridges, adds 8 more when the new one comes out in June, later this month, and however many more we get on Collection 5 whenever it's announced. But while Evercade is a great place to play Neo Geo titles, it's not limited to just Neo Geo. They have retro gaming collections that cover everything from Space Invaders to Tomb Raider, covering the entire history of retro gaming. So if you just want to play AES titles, this one probably goes to the AES Plus. But if you want a great AES experience without limiting yourself to just one console, to just Neo Geo, you might want to take a look at Evercade. Next, availability. The original AES was a 90s console, with games being released into the early 2000s. With the exception of some homebrew, any game that's ever going to be available for the console is available now. Go get them. If you could afford them, we'll get to that in a little bit. The AES Plus will not be available until November the 12th, along with the 10 reproduction cartridges. So you're gonna have to wait. And then when you're done with those 10 games, you're gonna have to wait some more until they make new cartridges, reproduce new classics. That's assuming they are going to reproduce more classics. And I'm assuming they will. While Evercade also has a new console coming out in the fall, the Evercade Nexus, a new handheld, you don't have to wait if you don't want to. Evercade already has handhelds and consoles and even bar-top arcades available right now that are going to play all of the exact same cartridges that the Nexus will. Evercade's licensing agreements do occasionally expire, causing one of those cartridges to go out of print and become what they call a legacy title. But at any given time, there are quite a few available collections. Currently, this includes all 3 of the original Neo Geo cart collections, as well as number 4 coming out later this month and number 5 at a later date. And of course, we can't avoid the big one, price. The AES Plus cost about $250. That's a little high for a console that plays old games, but honestly not that bad. If you wanted to get an original AES, you're gonna pay upwards of $600. So if you're wanting to get into playing Neo Geo games on authentic hardware, the AES Plus is the way to go. The big ouch is the games. Those 10 reproduction cartridges are $90 each. That's nearly $100 to play a 30-year-old game. If you want all 10 of them, that's $900. If you want a real bargain, you can get a package directly from PlayOn that has the console, all launch accessories, and the 10 reproduction games for a steal at $1,000. It gets worse. One of the benefits of the AES Plus is that it plays those original AES cartridges. The AES originally was very expensive, so it was kind of rare compared to, Nintendo and Sega consoles. And so there really aren't that many of these cartridges still in circulation. An original AES game can average between $150 and $800 for one game. Some of the rarer ones can cost into the thousands. Playing Neo Geo on authentic hardware is an expensive hobby. You can play any game in the Evercade library, any cartridge, on the Hyper Megatech Super Pocket, a little Game Boy type device that costs $70. You can get the Evercade EXPR, a little more like a Switch Lite styled console for $120. And you could wait and get the Nexus coming out later this year, a bigger handheld that has actual thumbsticks, first one of those that has thumbsticks, for $200. The Evercade VSR, the home console, costs $120. And on the higher end, the Evercade Alpha, which is a bar top arcade that plays all the cartridges, costs about $280. All Evercade carts cost $30 new. Quite a few of them have been discontinued over the years and are listed as legacy carts. Those legacy carts on the collector's market can cost up to about $150. But honestly, even most of those legacy titles sell for quite a bit less than one new $90 AES Plus card. In a time where everything seems to be getting more and more expensive, Evercade remains a very accessible option to get into retro gaming for most people. But which people are these two consoles for? The Neo Geo AES Plus is made for people who are fans of Neo Geo, who want to either re-experience these games or discover them new in a way that is closer to the way they were originally intended to be played. It is a very specific experience. It is an elevated experience, and the price reflects that. Evercade is for people who love physical media, who want to own their games, but don't need it to be entirely true to the original experience. For most people, close enough is close enough. It's affordable, it gives you experiences beyond one console or ecosystem. And let's be honest, Neo Geo, as much as we all love it, was cutting edge in the 90s, but it's not all that hard to reproduce that experience today. On paper, it looks like Evercade wins. And for most people, most retro gamers, most consumers, that's probably true. But if you're on YouTube binging these kinds of videos, you're probably not an average consumer or even an average retro gamer. This is your hobby. You are invested. Maybe you want that authentic experience, and winning on paper in random categories doesn't mean that much to you. I'll be honest with you, doesn't mean that much to me either. I can't wait to get my AES Plus Anniversary Edition, but I'm gonna get those new Evercade cards too. You play how you want to play. Maybe that's the AES Plus, maybe that's Evercade, or maybe you already game on a more modern ecosystem. I would be willing to bet you could find a pretty good Neo Geo collection on whatever that ecosystem is, whatever that console or platform is, for a lot less expensive than buying your way into a whole new platform or ecosystem. Or maybe you prefer emulation, whether it be on your computer, your phone or tablet, or one of those dedicated retro gaming emulation handhelds. There's really not a wrong answer here. I'd love to hear your opinions. Did you pre-order an AES Plus, or are you all in on Evercade? How do you play your retro games? I actually put off making this video for a few days. First, because my buddy Anson dropped that our road trip video going to a small retro gaming convention in Houston. If you haven't checked that out, please do. It's a much cooler video. Looks a lot nicer than most of the videos that I put out. I'll link it at the end in case you haven't seen it. And also, I had heard that at the beginning of this week, there was going to be another retro gaming announcement. I knew that there was going to be an announcement. I wasn't in enough to know what the announcement was going to be. I wanted to hold off a little bit just in case something was going to prove me wrong super fast yet again, give myself a little bit of a cushion. But it turned out it was just Mod Retro announcing the release date for their M64, not N64 for Nintendo 64, but M64 for Mod Retro 64. That is a new FPGA device that plays Nintendo 64 cartridges. It looks really cool. It's actually been announced for a while. They just announced the day that I'm recording this, they just announced the release date and put it in the hands of a few more successful retro gaming content creators that have bigger audiences than I do. I'm probably not going to cover that one. I want to. It looks really pretty. That one of the creators I follow, Gen X Grown Ups, has this really nice green one that they sent him. It is gorgeous. I'd love to get my hands on it. But there's just been so many retro things that have come out this year. It's getting expensive. I have to say no to at least a few of these things. So if you're a praying person, pray that I stay strong and don't give in to the FOMO on this one. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. I try to get a new video out at least once a week, sometimes two, just depending on what I've got going on and how much time I have. It really does help the channel grow, and it makes it easier for you to find my next video. I'm experimenting with the channel right now, trying to find a voice for the channel and also working on the style going forward. I would love to have you along for the ride. Thank you for watching, especially those that made it all the way to the end. And as always, I'll see you next time.